Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm from Schenectady, so it's a long distance relationship now.
Yeah. Well, those things
But
happen.
we're still in touch.
Isn't that great?
It is. When I stop waiting,
How are you today? Good. Yeah.
and rainy,
Not great.
not good beer day.
Not a good, yeah.
Welcome to UUCCN, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Central Nassau. My name is Valerie Litt, and I'm pleased to serve as a trustee on our board. Today's service is led by Elizabeth Gonzalez, a longtime member of our congregation and the chair of worship arts. Elizabeth is joined by guest musician Annie LeBeau. If you're new here, please know that this is a welcoming congregation, a special community that supports one another on our spiritual journey. We are people worshiping together from many paths who are brave, curious, and compassionate thinkers and doers. We are here to help one another do the difficult work of seeking meaning, acting for justice, living with integrity, and walking with one another in peace and love. We hope that this hour set apart from daily concerns will renew our spirits, strengthen our love for one another, and embolden us to bring reconciliation wherever we find division. It is good to be together.
Good morning. For our land acknowledgement this morning. We are here on the ancestral lands of the Merrick. We were put upon Turtle Island to be caretakers, to gather in a good way, to be with Earth's children in all of their forms, those of the land, the water, and the air. Let this land acknowledgement be a call to unity. Let us be guardians of the waters, air, and earth, the four-legged, the flyers, the swimmers, the crawlers, the mammal people, and the green. Let us be the guardians of harmony and kindness. And now for our chalice lighting this morning. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. And now please rise in body or in spirit for our opening song, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Thank
And now if you will join me for our responsive reading, our shared Unitarian Universalist values, which are found inside the order of service. Love is at the heart of our values.
We promise to live our values every day, with love center of all things.
Equity is the value of our inclusive community.
We believe in the inherent worthiness of all.
Interdependence teaches us we are all connected.
We are all as as one.
Justice is essential for peace and building a beloved community.
We will work to stand in grace and love ourselves and
Generosity expresses compassion, gratitude, and hope.
we will offer our faith, ourselves, and our resources.
Pluralism encourages respect for diverse beliefs.
And help us to experience as we learn from one another.
Transformation allows us to adapt to an ever-changing world.
We are evolving and growing. We are never perfect.
And now for the lighting of our peace candle, I will read a press release put out by the UUA yesterday, June 21st, 2025. UUA condemns U.S. military action against Iran. The Unitarian Universalist Association, UUA, condemns U.S. military involvement in the expanding conflict between Israel and Iran. The involvement of the United States will only escalate a deepening crisis of war in the region, lead to an ever greater loss of life, and prevent diplomatic resolution to the region's geopolitical challenges. This action by the U.S. government represents a moral failure, and the Unitarian Universalists, UUs, are compelled through our religious beliefs to speak out against it. Through our 200-year history, and especially in recent times, UUs have supported peacemaking efforts and addressing the root causes of the conflict. This includes a general resolution that UUs passed at our General Assembly in 1979 and a 2010 statement of conscience on creating peace, in which UUs expressed, "We repudiate aggressive and preventative wars, disproportionate use of force, covert wars, and targeting that includes a high risk to civilians. We affirm a responsibility to speak truth to power, especially when unjust power is exercised by our own nation." Additionally, in 2008, UUs opposed a U.S. attack on Iran in an action of immediate witness. We renew our opposition to attacking Iran in the wake of this action. Unitarian Universalists will continue to work for a world where our shared values of pluralism and interdependence are realized, and where the inherent dignity and worthiness of all people are recognized. UUCCN is a community of people who strive to be welcoming, caring, hospitable, and loving. We know that the spark of our joys can be amplified when we share them with people who are cheering us on, and the weight of the burden of our sorrows can be lightened when shared with those who have committed to our mutual well-being. Now is the time when you may share a joy or a sorrow that is on your heart this morning. Please raise your hand and I will recognize you.
My joy is to be here in this good holy place with such good people. And my joy is also to share with you the fact that my sister Susan cancers tumor is shrinking. Oh my God. Lord, no worry is also peace in this world.
Vicki?
Yeah, hi. Today is my husband's 75th birthday. Oh, boy. And I'm trying to get him to see that the classes are being full. I almost told him to. And it's a challenge sometimes given his multiple medical.
This week I just wanted to share my joy that New York City is celebrating Juneteenth as a state holiday. So this was the second year, third year maybe, that it was a school
May we remember those who have spoken, those they have named, and those we hold in silence in our hearts.
We have a few announcements this morning. Please join us following service of Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth is what we call the conversation, fellowship, and sharing of food that follows Sunday service. If you would like to help with a future Sweet Tooth, there's a sign-up sheet in the kitchen or speak with Anita Coddington. Please mark your calendar for our Juneteenth celebration next Sunday, June 29th. The service will also celebrate our minister, Reverend Patron Tom's and Bernie Tom's 45th anniversary. Please join us for this special day. UUCCN's book club meets next on Thursday, June 26th at 8 p.m. on Zoom. The book for June is Authentic Selves Celebrating Trans and Non-Binary People and Their Families, interviews by Peggy Gillespie. The book for the July meeting on July 31st is The Message by Todd Nahisi Coates. The Stewardship Pledge campaign for 2025-2026 is underway. All members should have received a rack card and a donation envelope in the mail. If you did not receive one, there is some on the visitor's table in the back. To be a member in good and moves into a slower pace. Spiritual growth continues all year round, even though we may be more relaxed. We invite you to share what is in your heart and on your mind by leading or coordinating a summer service. There are many topics to choose from. Our Unitarian Universalist faith, world religions, poetry, and the arts are all examples of what's possible. We will work with you to create something that we can all appreciate and enjoy. A special appeal to those who have never led a service before. Take a chance. Lead a conversation. Share favorite poems or readings. Share a passion. Talk about something you've learned about your heritage or another culture. Tell us about a new hobby or interest you've developed. Show a video or slides in lieu of a more formal service. This is an opportunity for us to deepen our relationship with each other, to have fun, and to work with each other in new ways. There's a place for everyone. And Michael Santania, Director of Music, provides or coordinates music for each service. We will provide you with a draft order of service as a guideline, but it may be changed to suit the topic and format that makes the most sense for you. Elizabeth Gonzalez can help with any questions you may have. Those are all of the announcements. Now I'm going to talk to you about the offering of Thanksgiving for June. It is time for our offering of Thanksgiving. Thank you for all of your support of UUCCN. Your pledges, donations, and volunteering sustain our congregation as we are 100% dependent upon our members, friends, and guests. Please give today when the ushers pass the collection plate in a minute, or you can use a credit card on our website, uuccn.org. One of our traditions is to share our Sunday collection plate with another organization whose work aligns with our values and principles. For the month of June, we support Cabrini Immigration Services in New York, whose mission is to empower immigrants, their families, and their communities through education, access to essential services, civic participation, and community building, and works to build a more inclusive and just society. Please help with this important work by giving today. If you're giving by check, please write Share the Plate June on the memo line. Thank you again for all you do to support our congregation. We are truly grateful and truly blessed by the generosity of our community.
Today's reading is the Mother's Day Proclamation by Julia Ward Howe from 1870. Arise then, women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether our baptism be that of water or of tears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions decided by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses and applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We, women of one country, will be too tender of those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs. From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm, disarm. The sword of murder is not the balance of justice. Blood does not wipe out dishonor, nor violence vindicate possession. As men have often forsaken the plow and the anvil at the summons of war, that women now leave all that may be left of home for a great and earnest day of council. Let them meet first as women, to bewail and commemorate the dead. Let them solemnly take counsel with each other as to the means whereby the great human family can live in peace, each bearing after his own kind the sacred impress, not of Caesar, but of God. In the name of womanhood and of humanity, I earnestly ask that a General Congress of Women, without limit of nationality, may be appointed and held at some place deemed most convenient and at earliest period consistent with its objects, to promote the alliance of the different nationalities, the amicable settlement of international questions, the great and general interests of peace.
Hi, everybody. When I asked Elizabeth what the themes of her sermon were going to be today, one of the things she said was parenthood. And so I chose a song to do for you that you might not know. It's from an off-Broadway show called Closer Than Ever. And this is called Fathers of Fathers. And it's the 3 stages of fatherhood. Hey Billy, my baby. Hey kid, look at me. I'll just wait a second. Hey Billy, my baby. Hey kid, look at me. It's true you've got your mother's eyes, but what do they see? The nurse just called me father. Well, hell, I guess that's what I am. And well, here I go. I'm a family man. Those fathers of fathers, fathers of mothers, how can you know what it's worth? For all my aspiration are you to be the indication that I walked the face of this earth. My children, I miss you. How much you don't know. I laughed with you, I cried with you, helped each of you grow. I kissed you every bedtime. Your laughter woke me every dawn. Then one day I woke and you'd grown and gone. Those fathers of fathers, fathers of mothers, strange how kids measure your worth. They're here and then they scatter, but in your way you made it matter that you walked the face of this earth. Hey Father, I love you. I pray you'll pull through. You cared for me. It's my turn now.
This is called Empathy for a Spider. In August of 2023, Adam and I took Benjamin on a vacation to the Poconos. We rented a house on the lake with another couple who are lifelong friends of ours, and their 2 kids get along well with Benjamin. We had an idyllic time, hiking, eating ice cream, sitting around the fire pit every night on the beach between the house and the lake. The last night of our trip, we went out for lunch and then came home planning to keep the fire going from late afternoon until we went to bed. Adam, Debbie, and I started to build the fire while Mike went into town to buy more firewood. There were some logs on the side of the yard that seemed dry enough to toss into the pit. We were getting the fire started already when we noticed something alarming. There was a large spider on the log next to a clutch of eggs. I felt a wave of emotions: panic, shock, surprise, fear, disgust, inner turmoil. I admit we had had a few beers at this point, but it remained a dilemma. Try and light the fire without getting bit by the spider? Move the log without getting bit? Abandon our plans and hide inside the house on our one last night of this lovely vacation? We talked about it. And we kept coming back to, this is a mother protecting her babies. Just as we protect our children, we could not hurt her. But what should we do? We FaceTimed a biologist friend of ours who marveled at the spider, and in her eyes, this hideous creature was beautiful. And she said, yep, that's a dilemma. We made a plan. We would protect ourselves, the spider babies, and our evening plans. We found an empty jar. Debbie placed it over the spider and her babies so they would be together and held it down as Adam and I lifted the log. We walked it back to the side of the yard where we found it, gently laid the log on the ground. Debbie lifted the jar, and we ran. When Mike came back with spider-free firewood, we lit the fire, and a good time was had by all. I think about this story, and I think about the shared bonds of parenthood which extended across species. I was able to have empathy for a spider. I am both impressed and disappointed with myself, because there are times in my life when I struggle to have empathy for other human beings, but I was able to respect a spider and protect its young. On Tuesday, New York City Comptroller Brad Lander did something he'd been doing for weeks. He went to the courthouse to accompany people to their hearings as they request asylum or proceed on a path to citizenship. This is something we've talked about here at UUCCN before. We hosted Ravi Rakbir from the New Sanctuary Coalition a few years ago, and he told us about the importance of accompaniment. That judges like to see that a person is supported by their community, is building a life for themselves in the United States, and that can make a difference between who gets to stay and who is forced to leave. Having elected officials support you would be a huge advantage then. However, it has become the policy of Immigration and Customs Enforcement to stake out the courthouses and arrest and deport people on their way to or when leaving after scheduled court hearings. We tell people to show up and obey the law, and then we assault, detain, and rip them away from their families. On Tuesday, as Brad Lander walked out of the courtroom, arms linked with a man named Edgardo, hoping to escort him safely out of the building as he had done for many people and families before. Two men in plain clothes, one wearing a cloth face mask, arrested Edgardo and Brad. As they were being separated, Lander repeatedly asked, "Who are you? Do you have a warrant? Are you ICE? If you're ICE, you cannot arrest me. I am a citizen." And these men, who refused to identify themselves, put him in handcuffs and escorted him to an ICE holding center. This arrest went viral. Perhaps because of the inherent biases of the American public, it was shocking to see ICE manhandle and detain a mild-mannered, white, Jewish dad from Brooklyn in a suit, in a way that did not shock them to see poor brown people dragged away in the same way. I probably would have squished that spider if I didn't see her as a mother. People have been ignoring the brutality of ICE that a shock to the system when they saw someone who looked like them getting roughed up. But beyond that, Brad Lander is not the victim. He is powerful in a way that Edgardo is not. The governor of the state of New York walked into that ICE facility and demanded his release, and it was done. There were no charges filed, despite the fact that the DHS put out a statement saying that he had assaulted an ICE agent, even though several videos showed no such thing. He said himself on release, "I'm happy to report I'm just fine. I lost a button on my suit, but I'm going to sleep in my bed tonight, safe, with my family." At that elevator, I was separated from someone named Edgardo. Edgardo is in ICE detention, and he's not going to sleep in his bed tonight. There were posters on the wall of my cell. It said in English, "Are you detained and separated from your children?" We are normalizing family separation. We are normalizing due process rights violations. We are normalizing the destruction of constitutional democracy. Brad Lander took the overwhelming show of support. Hundreds of people had gathered calling for his release. Dozens of elected officials and activists spoke out for him and redirected that attention and energy back to where it belongs, on the people he was trying to protect when he showed up that morning. The people whose humanity he put his body and his freedom on the line for. The people who were kidnapped by ICE every day, whose arrest does not go viral, and for whom no activists, politicians, or protesters assemble at the courthouse to demand their release. I once had an idea for a lay-led service to be called, "What do we owe people who would harm us?" Because in my lifelong journey to become a more empathetic person, I keep coming up against a wall. I can't empathize with a person who would do me harm. I can't empathize with someone who is clearly trying to harm others. In the summer of 2020, Adam and I marched in the Bayside Queens Black Lives Matter March. I don't know if you remember Authern, she used to be a member of this congregation, she came with us. And we parked one of our cars at the end of the march, and we parked her car at the beginning. And when we came back to our car, it was surrounded by pro-police protesters, one of whom was Benjamin's nursery school teacher, yelling and taunting at the Black Lives Matter protesters. We quickly turned around and went back to Authern's car. Later that day, after we left, a young black man got spit on by one of these pro-police protesters, and the police arrested him, and he spent the rest of the day in police custody. The next day, Benjamin's nursery school teacher proudly posted a picture of her with a sign saying, "Support the police." I was really, really angry about this, and I spoke to someone about it, and she said to me, "Well, can't you just see yourselves as two people standing up for what you believe in, two people exercising their free speech rights?" And I said, "No. I'm a mother. She's a mother. We both care for Benjamin, but she doesn't care for the young man who got spit on and arrested. And she supported the man who assaulted him and the police who detained him for saying that his life matters. It's not the same thing." And I also can't empathize with the people who were laughing at the photo of Brad Lander with ICE agents' hands and arms around his shoulders and neck. He looked like he was being strangled. His eyes were bulging and his head was rolling back. And some people found this funny. People sent me this photo when I was speaking out against ICE and telling me how hilarious it was. I see no shared experience there. I see no mother protecting her babies. I only see a dangerous, venomous spider. But still, what kind of person am I that loved this spider and not a fellow human? Doesn't that make me kind of despicable? Or at least a hypocrite? And so I return to the question, what do I owe someone who's trying to harm me? What do I owe someone who takes glee in the harm of others? And when I think about that, the conclusion I come to is my best defense. It's like the advice given to parents of toddlers. When they raise their hand to hit you, block them, gently, but firmly. Don't let them hit, bite, kick, or scratch you. Don't let your child hurt you. It's really the same for everyone. I will protect myself to protect them. If I stop someone from harming me, I've stopped them from doing harm, and that is a kind and loving thing to do, no matter how angry I may be. And so when we placed the plastic jar over the spider, we were stopping her from biting us, and we stopped ourselves from harming her or her young. When Brad Lander linked arms with Edgardo, he was trying to stop the ICE agents from harming an innocent man. He was trying to protect Edgardo, but he was also trying to protect a healthy and compassionate society that does not harm the most vulnerable. And if you want to get involved and become a hero like Brad Lander, or support from behind the scenes, get involved with Westbury Ice Watch. Follow them on Facebook or Instagram, or you can check out the Central American Refugee Center, UUCCN of New York. I have the website later, and I'll give it to you if you ask me at Sweet Tooth. Please join us for our closing song, number 108. My life goes on in endless song. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together